Hi Clive.
Hi.
So what exactly is a business support organisation for sport?
Well, it's very similar to what the name suggests, really. We are a team of advisors who are available to help sports clubs of any size and any sport with all aspects of business. A lot of sports clubs are run by volunteers. They're not necessarily the best people to run it as a business. And what we're trying to do is work with them so that every sports club is effectively a business and can be economically viable in the future.
So what sort of work do you do with them then?
We do a vast amount of different types of work, really, depending on the club, depending on the sport, and obviously depending on the size of the club. It can be anything from a personal fitness trainer who runs a class once a week, or it could be a fully fledged and long-standing golf club or football club or rugby club. So it really depends on what they need. But the major things that we get involved with are things like the structure of the club, making sure that there's decision-making capacity there, looking at their income streams, looking at their costings, their expenditure. But we're not consultants as such. We are there to help them to do it themselves. So we mentor them, we coach them, and we work with them so that they look at the club with a complete review from top to bottom so that they're able to take it forward basically and run it as a business. I mean, at the end of the day, a sports club is a business the same as if you were a window cleaner or managing director of a big factory.
Excellent. So I was going to ask you about the coaching side because I understand that you run a number of workshops for sports clubs. Can you tell me about these and what they're about?
Well, we do. Because we are covering the UK and there are relatively few of us, it's really difficult for us to go and visit every single club that comes into contact with us. But we also find it's very helpful for clubs to come together, sometimes across different sports, sometimes within their own sport. So we found that by running a series of workshops based on specific areas that of concern to the sports club, we can actually work with a lot rather than just working with one or two. So, for instance, we run a very interesting workshop on sponsorship. Sponsorship is a big thing for sport. A lot of people make the mistake of thinking, well, we can write a begging letter to a company, and because we're local and and our Johnny plays in it, that the company is bound, almost guilty enough to send them some money. And it doesn't work like that. And we're trying to show them that actually sponsorship is more of a science, and you actually have to present a business case to a company because the company's not going to give you money for the sake of it, they're in business. So we run a workshop, an actual practical workshop, where we work with them, show them the reasons why we take this approach, and when they walk away from the workshop, they've actually got the basis of a plan, a target list, and also the type of letter that would hopefully get some sort of reaction from the company that they're attracting.
So if they came on your workshop, are they guaranteed to be able to raise lots of sponsorship money?
We'll never guarantee anything because at the end of the day, it's as good as the business case they put forward. It's as simple as that. But we've actually linked up with a Canadian agency who do this professionally to the Ice Hockey League, the major Ice Hockey League in Canada.
Okay.
And they've been really, really helpful to us. So these guys are bringing in sponsorship of multi-million dollar Canadian dollar results. Well, the principles are the same whether you're going after $1 million or if you're going after £10. So they've been really useful. So they're successful. So there's no reason why we can't impart that information to local clubs, basically.
Superb. And what else does your company offer?
Well, one of the main things, I mean, it is literally all aspects of business support. So we can help them to identify grants and hopefully find grants. We also can provide support within employment and volunteers. And again, very practical through workshops, we can actually help them to put together employment contracts, volunteer contracts, policies and procedures. And we've recently introduced standard, basically, a business standard of business sustainability. We call it raising the bar.
Raising the bar?
Yeah. Well, I mean, titles are titles, aren't they, at the end of the day? But it is literally raising the bar. We feel it's a very apt title for it because clubs, as I've said before, historically, some have been going for many, many years, but they're as good as the people or the committee that's been elected. So sometimes they have good years and sometimes they don't have so good years. Um, it's very often, if it's a children's sports club, it's very often the parents who are actually involved. With raising the bar, what we do is we actually set down certain principles that the club signs up to, and we take them through every single aspect of running a business, right from the basic structure of the club, whether it's appropriate for them, because there's all sorts of implications of having the wrong structure for a club. We take them through their decision-making capacity. Quite often, as a club gets bigger and the committee gets bigger, so therefore their ability to make decisions is reduced, and therefore things don't get done, and therefore the club starts to find that it's losing money. We take them through governance issues in terms of statutory responsibilities and also prudent responsibilities, so how to actually manage the finances better. We take them through income generating, we take them through membership, we show them how to attract more members and retain members, and we help them to put procedures in place to ensure that the actual sport is developed in the right way as well. Now, it's important to point out at this stage that we are not sport development officers, so we do not develop the elite sports side of it. What we do is we put all the foundations in place so that the sport development officers can actually do what they're supposed to be doing, and that's hopefully producing good sports people.
Oh, that all sounds well and good, but how does a local football side, like a Sunday team or something like that, how would they benefit from a programme like this?
It doesn't really matter what size club we're talking about, really, or what sport we're talking about.
So professional level, amateur level?
Absolutely. The principles are very much the same.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a local football team, and the majority of local football teams will probably run 3 or 4 teams from junior right up to senior, or it could be just a Sunday morning play about type of team. They still, at the end of the day, will have to pay for use of the pitch. They need access to kit. They have away games, so they need to earn income. They also will also have considerable expenditure, so they need to be able to monitor that in the right way. And if they are having income and if they are spending, then by default they have to have a set of books. They have to be able to quantify that, because somebody's going to ask, whether it be the parents of the children who are playing football, or depending on the turnover, the tax man needs to know. So it is a business by, you can't call it anything other than a business. So we are there to help them to put the structures in place, and they can be as simple or as complicated as the size and the type of sport determines. Now, if it's a large football club, if it's a league football club, they are in exactly the same situation. They still have to be able to earn income, to be able to pay their expenditures, and if they're semi-professional, they have to find wages for the players as well as the backup team. They'll also have volunteers. They also need to attract spectators. They also need to be able to have the governance. And again, a lot of, particularly football clubs, but also rugby clubs and cricket clubs and golf clubs, they come unstuck a little bit because that prudence and that sustainability isn't behind the club. And football is a really good example of this, because it's such a fast-moving sport in terms of business development that a lot of clubs fall behind, and therefore they can't keep up with the playing standard because they haven't got the financial stability behind them to be able to attract either spectators or the players.
That's interesting. We've seen obviously a lot of business, football clubs and things go under. So you're saying basically that if the club is run as a business now, you can improve their business practices.
We can
support them.
Yeah, we can improve their business practices. We also have access to a lot of new ideas, and there are a lot of things that we would like to be able to suggest, particularly in football. Football we're working a lot with at the moment. So there are areas where we feel that they can generate income and generate interest outside of the Saturday football match, 90-minute football match. A football club is very much part of the community, and we want to see the club more involved in the community, and there are benefits to the community but also huge benefits to the club. So we go a little bit beyond the just, this is a business structure and this is what you should do, And we don't do it like that. We don't actually say to people, this is a rigid structure, you must keep to it. Every single sport, every single club, every person who's running the club are individuals. And we work with them, we're able to empathise with them, and we're able to develop alongside them, basically.
So if you're gonna say like the managers of these lower teams and things like that, coaches, are they the people you're targeting, or is it the owners? Because surely a coach isn't going to be interested or find the time to go and do this business support.
Yeah, very much so. And again, it depends very much on the club. But if we're using the example of football, then the football managers, the football coaches are not interested so much in running the business.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they would like, if it's a professional football club, obviously they want funds to be able to go and buy players and pay players' wages with. No, if it's an owned football club, such as a football league club, then it's the owners and the board or the management group that they've set up. If it's a smaller community-based football club who are significant size clubs and significant income within there, then it's the committee. So it'd be the chair, the treasurer, the secretary, people like that. These are the people that we want to talk to. The people who ultimately are responsible for making sure that there are 11 players to be able to play and the funds are in place for them to be able to afford to play.
Excellent. So how do you help them? Is the big question. Why you? Why Osterly?
Well, why Osterly? Well, Osterly has evolved from an organisation that's, or really it's evolved from before that, from a team of business advisors who have been working with sports clubs through their own previous jobs, and also have been involved with sport themselves, have run sports clubs, have helped to facilitate sports clubs, but also general business as well. And the rules and regulations and the procedures are very similar whether we're talking to an engineering company or whether we're talking to a sports club. As I said before, it's a business. Where we are fairly unique is so much that we have made a conscious policy decision that we want to help and develop sustainability for sports clubs. So we've tailored all of our programs, all of our workshops and all of the support that we have available specifically for sport. So we understand sport, we understand the needs of sport, and hopefully people will say that we have a vision for where sport needs to be in the future.
So how do you get involved in this Raise the Bar programme? And more importantly, how much does it cost?
It's very straightforward to get involved with us. We're working very much with national governing bodies, but also you can contact us. We have our own website, which is www.osterly, which is OSTERLY -associates.co.uk. You can email me, which is my email address is contact.osterlyassociates, all one word, @yahoo.co.uk. And we'll come and talk to you, and we'll sort of talk it through with you. If you go on the website, it will have details about what courses are available and how to apply for them, or talk to your governing body, national governing body. In terms of cost, the total cost, the maximum cost I should say really, is £350 to participate in the whole programme, and that will take you through 2 workshops with one-to-one support in between, and you will end up with a standard which is measured against the performance of where you are basically, and you will have all of your policies and procedures and pretty well everything you need for that £350. There are discounts available. We work very closely with a charity, a national charity called Sported, and if you're a member of Sported, then there is a discount available. We have talked to the sports councils, and at the moment there is no grant funding to participate on our workshops. We're hopeful of changing that. Let's say the battle has only just started with that. We have asked them, and their initial reaction was, well, why should we? Our argument very much is, well, actually, this is your vision, this is what you want to see, sustainability of sports clubs. So we're not asking for them to pay us. What we're asking for is that there is a fund available for sports clubs to access, to make a decision, to choice, to use us or to come on our things. So we're hopeful in the future we'll make an announcement that's going to be positive.
Thank you very much. One last question. If a club isn't ready to participate in the Raise the Bar, can you still help them?
Very much so. We don't just do workshops. We are out and about. We are working with clubs at the moment. I'm working with a couple of boxing clubs, one of which is literally this week has signed the lease on new, much larger premises, which they're now going to open up to other sports. We're working with the Gymnastics Academy, very similar situation. They've had to use school gymnasiums, 3 of them in the North Wales area, and they're now putting together their own Gymnastics Academy. We're working with half a dozen or so football clubs, one of which has got one of the new 3G football pitches, so we're helping them with a sustainability programme. And we're working with rugby union and a similar sort of thing, where clubs are looking to move to the next level, basically. And in golf, we've worked with golf for quite a long time now, and we're working with a number of clubs, helping them with membership issues, marketing issues, and again the decision-making side of it. So we do that on a one-to-one basis. We try to attract as many people to come onto our workshops as possible, because we feel that that will give them the foundation, but we're here to help in whatever way and whatever capacity we can do.
Excellent. Nice speaking to you, and all the best for the future.
Well, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.